Hello, it's Redhead Takes to everybody that's watching this video. Thank you all for the past couple of weeks. They've been great for my channel. My channel's been increasing and going up. But this week, we have week 18 of the NFL 2022 NFL season. The last full slate of games. And yeah, just continuing to pray for Damar Hamlin and his continued recovery. He's sounds like he's getting better. His neurologically intact, which is great. And I just want to say thank you and prayers to everybody who helped work on him during those 8 minutes before the ambulance came. You all are saints. You're wonderful people. God bless to all who worked on him and got him to where he is today. It's frankly a miracle, and God is good. But yeah, just God bless to everybody. God bless Damar Hamlin and his family. Yeah, and it's just a wonderful thing that things are happening in a good way. Sad to say that Uche died. I never watched his content or anything, but sad to see another fellow YouTuber die, especially so tragically and awful. But let's get to the games for week 18. I'm still getting used to saying week 18. It feels weird. Soon, who knows, we might see week 19, week 20, but last week I was 11-4 on account of the canceled game, but it's a pretty good week overall, and I won in the tiebreaker in my league, so, but yeah, let's get into this. Chiefs and the Raiders. The Raiders played well last week, nearly beating the 49ers, and the Chiefs won by beating the Broncos because of a roughing the passer penalty that wasn't called. It allowed Russell Wilson to have a turnover, but yeah, the Chiefs are still a good team. I think their defense is still lacking. It's probably going to be their Achilles heel in the playoffs. And Devontae Adams just keeps playing well for the Raiders no matter who the quarterback is. So, may have seen the last of Derek Carr in Las Vegas, but the Raiders, I don't think they're going to win this week. I think the Chiefs will come out strong. They may struggle still on defense. I think the Raiders will have a little bit of offense and probably be a little closer than people think. But I think the Chiefs ultimately pull it out. Mahomes is still Mahomes, and he probably wins the MVP this year. But I don't think they win the Super Bowl. At least right now. I'm not picking them as a chance to win the Super Bowl right now just because their defense is a little lacking, but should be a good game for the most part, but we'll just have to wait and see. Any given Sunday, or in this case, any given Saturday. Next we have the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just going to come out and say it right away. The Jags are probably going to win this game. The Titans have no business winning this game after losing 6 in a row. I mean, it's amazing how the Tennessee Titans versus Bengals game was just a warning of what's to come, and it's really shocking how far they've fallen. Like I said, Josh Dobbs is starting, and the Jags beat up on the Texans last week, and even though Trevor Lawrence didn't play well, I look for him to bounce back against the Tennessee Titans subpar passing defense. I don't think this game's going to be too close. I guess Derrick Henry will be rested, so that could be a game changer for the Titans, but even if they win, they're not winning in the playoffs. They're just not going to win in the playoffs with the team they have. So many injuries. And I really hope the Jaguars win and turn around and going from number 1 overall pick to playoff team. It's pretty amazing. And gotta love the NFL that way. Next we have the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Again, another game I'm just going to say the Bills should probably win this game. That atmosphere in Buffalo Stadium is going to be amazing. Ralph Wilson Stadium, I should say, because that's what it really is called. And the Patriots winning last week, offense didn't look too bad. They were able to score some points, but still not what a playoff team should be. Their defense is great, but the Bills have so much emotion riding on this game. And if the Bills win, they get the number 1 overall seed probably. seeing as how the Bills and Bengals game is now canceled. Bills win, they're the number 1 seed, and then they get another week off. But yeah, there's going to be so much emotion riding on this, and I don't think the Bills are going to lose. It would just be the darkest day if the Patriots beat the Bills and got in the playoffs after what happened. It would just be an injustice, and nobody wants to see that. Even if you're a Patriots fan, you don't want to see your team go into the playoffs and lose immediately, which would probably happen, but Bills win. Next we have the Browns and the Steelers. The Steelers, surprisingly, still in playoff competition. Now they need a couple things to go right, but those chances look pretty good to me. The Bills have to beat the Patriots, which, like I just said, is probably going to happen. Steelers need to beat the Browns, which, I mean, even though their meagerly on offense or defense is really good, and Deshaun Watson hasn't been great for the Browns. I think he'll bounce back next year when he has a full off season, but again, Deshaun Watson is innocent until proven guilty. You people need to give him a fucking break. But yeah, the Steelers, I think they have just enough on offense, and their defense will probably crash that Browns offensive line. Should be a good game overall, but Steelers are at least going to take control of their own destiny and win. Now they still need things to go right, but more than likely I think the Steelers have a great chance to make the playoffs, even though a lot needs to go their way. Next we have the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. Panthers blowing that game last week was so fucking disappointing. I picked them to win. They were doing so strong, and then all of a sudden Tom Brady says, like, oh, I think I'm the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm going to be able to hit Mike Evans all day long. Now, let's put this into perspective. J.C. Horn did not play for the Panthers, so that would have changed a lot. Mike Evans would not have been able to get down the field like he did if J.C. Horn was playing. And the game would have been completely different probably, but Saints surprisingly beating the Eagles, although I thought it was a possibility. I just didn't know how possible it was. They did it. Unfortunately, they're out of the playoffs after the Packers beat the Vikings, but who knows? It may be the last time we see Kamara in a Saints uniform. I don't think that's very likely, but, at the very least, we probably won't see him for a while next year, because who knows? He probably gets his case resumed, and then the NFL just suspends him for his brawl that he was in. But I don't know. I think the Saints have enough to beat the Panthers. Through the way the Panthers imploded last week, I think the Saints have more than enough, and it's in New Orleans, so it could go either way, to be honest, but I'm going to stick with the Saints in a close game. Next we have the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. The Bears getting absolutely destroyed by the Lions last week after Justin Fields started out so great, running the ball so well, but then it's like he can't throw the ball really well, so that's a problem. He can throw deep at times, but his accuracy is not good, and that's something he really needs to work on. And the Vikings getting absolutely destroyed by the Green Bay Packers, one of the greatest games I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely perfect. But I like the Vikings to come out strong. Nathan Peterman is starting for the Bears, so that's a problem. The Bears' defense is already bad, but the Vikings will look to bounce back in a big way. Their offense is probably going to play well all day. Their defense is probably going to get after Nathan Peterman and make him struggle, as if he hasn't struggled enough in the NFL. But yeah, the Vikings should win this game pretty easily. I mean, if they lose, then they might as well just pack up and not even play for the playoffs, because that's just not a good way to end your season. But Minnesota wins handily, and I don't think the Bears have a chance at all. Next we have the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. Colts look to be favored in this game, but I think the Texans are going to win. Texans have been playing much better of late. They didn't show up last game, but they've been playing much better than the Colts have, and the Colts are just a mess at quarterback. Who knows if they'll even be able to get a decent quarterback in the draft next year. Nick Foles got hurt last week, and then Sam Ehlinger had a touchdown, and they played a little better in the second half, but that game was over by halftime. And CBS saw that and changed the game. But the Texans, I think, have been playing well enough that they should be able to win. I don't know if a win here completely loses them their number one overall pick next year. But I think... Plus, who knows what's going to happen with Lovie Smith. But I think the Texans have enough, and the Colts are just rudderless. They are just kind of done, it seems. We won't see Nick Foles. We'll probably see Sam Ehlinger again. Who wasn't awful last week, but come on, the Colts are a very good team. It's one of my biggest disappointments this year in picking them to win their division. But, you can't win them all. But I think the Texans win in a close one. Next, we have the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins probably looking to play Skylar Thompson this week at quarterback because no Bridgewater and Tua is not playing, obviously. But even though they have good pieces, they're just like the Titans. They've fallen so far. It's hard to see them winning. And the Jets, their defense is still good. So I think that's what gives them the edge. Joe Flacco is going to be starting at quarterback because Mike White is out, and obviously you can't go back to Zach Wilson right now. And who knows if we ever see Zach Wilson for the Jets again, but I think the Jets have enough. I think they can beat the Dolphins. I think they'll be able to get after Skylar Thompson or whoever is starting at quarterback. And yeah, I think the Jets win a close one. Their defense leading the way. And really helping the Steelers out. Seriously, the Steelers have a great chance to make the playoffs. I mean, they have to win, obviously, but their scenarios are much easier to hope for than other teams would have been. So, yeah, I think the Jets are going to win, but honestly, it could go either way just because it's the NFL. And you know how that is. Next, we have the Ravens and the Bengals. Bengals playing for the division in this game, as well as the Ravens. Ravens are just pitiful. God, they've just played so poorly the last month. I mean, even since Lamar Jackson has been out, it's just... Even with Lamar Jackson, when he was playing his last couple weeks, haven't been great. And since then, Tyler Huntley has done what he can, but just not a lot there. The Bengals, obviously, with their game canceled last week after what happened. And there's reports that Joe Burrow may or may not play, but I think he will. I think that's all just speculation and rumor milling, but I think the Bengals have more than enough to beat the Ravens. Ravens have just been so poor. They're kind of limping into the playoffs again like they usually are. And yeah, I think the Ravens lose, Bengals win, and Bengals lock up the third seed. I think they would lock up the third seed. So Bengals win, and probably I don't know. It might be a good game. I don't know. It just don't know how the Bengals are going to react, but I think they're going to come out strong. Next, we have the Bucs versus the Falcons. Again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just... Tom Brady, please just go away and leave us alone. I'm just sick of you. But Falcons losing the Tank Bowl last week. The Falcons probably have overachieved a lot this year. They still have a long ways to go, but they have shown signs of improvement. I think they need a new coach if they ever want to really succeed, because Arthur Smith is not a head coach, and I think he's just a bozo. But the Bucs, I don't know. I think I'm going to pick the Falcons. I think the Falcons are favored in this game. I don't know how much Tampa Bay has to play for. I think they should just probably rest their starters and for the playoffs, because they're going to need all the help they can get. But who knows? They probably play the Cowboys and they win. I hope not. I don't want to see I'd rather see Dallas go further than Tampa Bay, because you know what Tom Brady can do when he has the devil on his side. But this game probably should be closer than most people think. Honestly, again, this game could go either way. You never know how Tom Brady's going to react to each game. but I think the Falcons have enough to win because I just don't know how much the Bucs will actually play for this game of Falcons. Next we have the Cowboys and the Commies. Like I was trying to illustrate earlier in the week, the Ron Rivera is a terrible coach. He really is. He's overrated, and he needs to be fired and go. The whole Taylor Heineke not wanting to play, I think, was more of a symptom of him getting benched last week when you needed to win to make the playoffs, and starting Carson Wentz, and now he wants to see Sam Howell play. It's just weird because he may or may not even be with the Commies next year. And the Cowboys, winning against the Cowboys. Titans rested a bunch of starters, but the Cowboys still struggled. I mean, that game was a lot closer than it should have been. And Dak, again, has had 2 interceptions that weren't very good. And it's just like, you just can't feel confident in the Cowboys. I mean, even against bad competition, they still stoop to their level and keep a game closer than it should be for way longer than it should be. But I think the Cowboys have more than enough. I think the Commies have completely given up. Their team is bad. Their owner is bad. Cowboys going with a little streak. And, yeah, I don't think the Commies win at all. I don't think there's any chance. They're just a terrible, disgusting team. Next we have the Rams and the Seahawks. If the Seahawks win, they eliminate the Lions, which makes the Sunday night game against the Packers less impactful. And the Rams, they just got destroyed last week by their cross-county rival, the Chargers. Well, I guess they're both in LA, but the Chargers winning, proving to be kind of a scary team going in the playoffs, getting their players back. But the Rams, again, rudderless team, no first round pick next year. I guess the only thing they can do is really, if they win, the Lions get a worse pick next year. And if they lose, the Lions get a better pick next year. But the Rams don't have much to play for. I think the Seahawks have more than enough. It'll be in Seattle, so that gives them the edge. Kenny Walker should have a great game. Should be able to run well against the Rams. And, yeah, I think with the win, with the Seahawks win, the Lions are eliminated. And then they get to play spoiler against the Packers possibly, but Seahawks win. Next we have the LA Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. I've seen mixed reports about the Chargers, that they're actually playing their starters or not. The Broncos nearly winning last week, but they of course got that terrible no call that wasn't called that would have allowed the Broncos to stay in it and possibly win the game. But of course, you know how the NFL is like that, and they pick winners all the time. And of course, it's Mahomes, so Mahomes is going to win, even against their good boy, Russell Wilson. But yeah, the Chargers, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game. I should be picking the Chargers, but I think I might just pick the Broncos just because I don't know if the Chargers are going to play for it, even though they do have something to play for. I think if they lose, they drop down a little bit, but I don't know. This game is a real mystery to me. But yeah, the Broncos and the Chargers. Sorry about that. Turned the gain down a little bit too much, but I think I'll go with the Broncos. This could change if we find out the Chargers are actually playing their starters, but from what I've been hearing, the Chargers are not playing their starters, which is weird, but I'll go with the Broncos. But I reserve the right to change my pick, and you'll see it in the comments possibly below. Next we have the Cardinals and the 49ers. Cardinals have nothing to play for, really, except possibly ruin their draft position. And the 49ers are probably going to go in strong, looking to go into the playoffs with their winning streak intact. I don't see any chance that the Cardinals win this game, to be honest. As far as I know, the 49ers are still playing for it because they still have a chance to... Do they have a chance? I don't know if they have the chance to win the number 1 seed or not. But I don't think the 49ers are going to have any chance. Their defense is good. Offense is, hasn't sputtered, but they've struggled at times. They struggled a little bit last week against the Raiders, but should be a not good game. Should not be a good game at all. 49ers should win handily. Next we have the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants winning against the Colts last week, destroying them really, and the Eagles losing to the Saints. Eagles have lost 2 in a row, so Jalen Hurts is obviously going to play. They need him to play because they need to win the number 1 seed, because if they lose, they could fall all the way to 5th, and they don't want that. They don't want to go from the juggernaut number 1 overall seed to the 5th seed and have to play a road game in the first week, but I don't think the Giants really have anything to play for. They're pretty locked in where they're going to be. And I think the Eagles are going to have more than enough, especially with Jalen Hurts. He may be a little rusty, but I think he'll come out strong. And the Eagles win. It should probably be a good game, though. I don't think the Giants are going to completely lay down just because it's the rivalry game, but I think the Eagles in the end pull out. And finally, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Detroit Lions in a game that could be less impactful by the time it started. Like I said, if Seattle wins, Detroit is eliminated, and then all the Lions have is to play spoiler. But the Packers, with the momentum that they've been on, and their win last week against the hated Vikings, I don't see how there's any way the Lions could win, but it's the NFL. The NFL give it, then the NFL take it away. It happens all the time, but it's in Lambeau. That crowd's going to be rocking. This Packers team was dead about 5 weeks ago, but they've rallied strong. Their defense looks better. You have to give credit to Joe Barry. I think I've said lately that the Barry, regardless of what happens to the playoffs, for sure if they make the playoffs, he keeps his job. And even if they somehow lose, I still think he's around for next year. For the Lions, they played well against the Bears last week, really well. But I just think in the cold Lambeau Field on a Sunday night, with the momentum they had, I just think the Packers are going to win. Probably going to be a really good game, but the Packers are going to win. But again, any given Sunday, so you never know for sure what's going to happen. And there we go. We have my picks for week 18 of the NFL season. The last full slate of games. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, trying to make Rumble and Locals better. So find me at both of those platforms. Still no Twitter. Still in Twitter exile right now. Hopefully I'll be back there at some point. But yeah, I just want to thank all my subscribers and all my new subscribers that have subscribed over the last couple weeks. My numbers have soared, and I know it has a lot to do with my Simpson reviews, but again, just continue to watch all my content, all my movie reviews, and my football takes and everything. I'm always just looking for new content. I'm always going to make what I want. I'm always open to suggestions, but mainly I always want to make what I want or what I want to watch and make. And I know the people that watch my stuff will hold to that sentiment as well. If you want to be successful on YouTube, you have to make what you want and have no problem with any criticism you get. Ignore the trolls, just keep doing what you're doing and you'll make it to where you want to be. But as always, have a great day. God bless. Continue to pray for Damar Hamlin. Again, he's doing great. He's getting better. He's probably not out of the woods yet completely, but it's a really good sign. Have a great day, and God bless.